Hey guys, this is part 2 of this video. If you have not seen part 1 yet, I'm gonna place a link in the description as well as a card in the upper right hand corner. So I've got this sped up right here, but it's not going too fast. I'm just letting you know right now I'm plugging in the wiring for the radio antennas. So just being careful with these to not damage them. And it is important to get these down in these little tracks, because if you don't, you may have problem getting your speaker in later and getting your phone to close up tightly. All right, so now I've got all the main stuff hooked up. I do not have the headphone jack. Headphone jack is not hooked up with the camera sensor, and fingerprint reader is not hooked up, but this should be enough to test this phone. I'm gonna go ahead and put my SIM card back in. Okay, now that the SIM card's back in, I'm gonna go ahead and reconnect the battery. So guys, to do your preliminary testing, you will have to do these 2 screws, and you will have to put this on, and maybe put a screw or 2 in to here. So I'm just making sure that the screws around those contacts are there, so it can get the temperature reading that it needs. I'm gonna put one here. It seems to kind of serve as a heat sink or something, but I know this area of the phone does get hot under here, and that must be where your CPU is housed. So I'm going to put a screw there as well. Of course, I'm going to put all the screws back in, but right now I just want to confirm that the phone does in fact work, that it takes a charge, and it does connect to cellular. So looking for a charge. And as we can see, we're charging. 42 minutes to full. Still, that seems a little bit slow, but if it's already 74%, but and then as we can see, the big one is that we are connected to cellular. So guys, now I'm putting in the rest of the screws, and one thing you have to watch out for is that you're not putting a screw into the motherboard that will later have to be screwed into this. So as you can see, I had to take one out so I could put in the speaker assembly, and now I'm putting the screws in. So sometimes you just have to take a look at it and make sure you're not putting in the screws prematurely. So I got a piece of this double-sided tape that's just all bunched up. I'm gonna try to flatten it out as much as I can, but the glue is all hard. But with a little bit of heat, we'll get this glue nice, soft, and pliable again. Now I could not find my new roll of double-sided tape, but I think this will be just all the glue that's inside here will work just fine. So it's glue all around this case, and it's just got to get hot, and it'll be nice and tacky again. Now this is a fingerprint reader. And one thing I found out, like right now, this phone is already powered on. So if I plug this up and just try to use a fingerprint reader, it actually won't recognize it. You have to reboot the phone once you hook the fingerprint reader up. And as you can see, it's kind of difficult. They don't give you a lot of slack here. So what I've learned, you can kind of get your phone put together. Obviously I would do this laying down, and I'd kind of kneel down near my bench where I'm working and look. And as I get close, I'll use this to push down on it and plug it up. I can almost do it just like this. Yeah, so I'm almost got it. But that's how I do it, but I'm gonna actually do it like this, and the camera really won't be able to see it. All right, so I got it plugged in. I'm gonna go ahead and reboot the phone and make sure that it's working before I get this glue worked back in. Try to unlock, use fingerprint, and it unlocks no problem. So now guys, everything is in working order. I can charge it, I can make my phone calls, my fingerprint reader is working, and everything is good to go. So now what I'm gonna do, just checking along here and making sure nothing is seem to kind of be bulging or anything. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna heat this phone up and apply some pressure so we can get this glue all tacky again, and once it's cooled off, the phone will be done. Okay, that's probably plenty of heat. Now guys, you don't have to do this. I would actually maybe even recommend against it, but what I'm wanting to do is to apply just a little bit of pressure on this phone while the glue is cooling. And it's hot, and I don't want to necessarily use my hands. So I'm not squeezing this tight, but it's just some pressure. As you can see, the phone even almost wants to slip out. So I'm gonna apply pressure there. And then also here. Now let me take it down to the edge. I've got some other ones, but they're metal, and I don't want to put metals on here, so let me just go. Okay, so the bottom seam has closed up real nicely. We just gonna want to make sure this seam is too. I'm gonna apply a little more heat because it's cooled down. I'm using these clamps to hold the glass down while the tacky glue is getting hard again. And like I said earlier, I would never trust this phone to be waterproof again, but we maybe can achieve at least water resistance if we get this gap nice and tight. And once I put my phone back on, if it gets a splash of water on it, I think it's a very low chance of getting past the case, getting in there, and then getting into this seam that we're trying to make sure is almost non-existent. So I've just heated up the phone again to make this glue tacky while this little clamp is holding. Now of course you don't necessarily have to do this, and if you do something like this, you don't want to apply too much pressure because the front and the back is in fact glass, and it can just crack and break on you, so you don't want to go overboard with this. Can't really. It's just almost impossible to see, but okay. So look at that seam. It's a very tight seam. Now this side, no, that side's very tight too. So all the way around, my seam is very, very good. very a lot of fingerprints. So there it is, guys. Go ahead and put it back in its case. There it is. One complete working phone that can now plug in. Like I said, I've been using the QI charging, wireless charging, but sometimes you do need to just plug it in. And now I have that functionality back. Also, I use this phone a lot to piggyback data so my laptop can get online whenever I'm not at home. So it's another reason I really needed my port back. All right, guys, so if you like this video, you want to see more types of things like this, I also do a lot of other things, like a little bit of home repair, do some stuff with some cars, other random projects. Basically, if you like doing things and not just forking over some cash and having someone else do it, if you like doing things yourself, this might be the channel for you. And I appreciate everybody who does like, subscribe, and people who use the Amazon links. Again, if you need a new one of these, you want to get the right one. As you can see, mine works. A lot of them on Amazon do not work at all. You put it in, it just will not work. You want to get these, I will have an affiliate link for it, and I do appreciate that. It helps me make videos and helps me to do some cool stuff that I maybe wouldn't even never done. And so that's about it, guys. I will see you later. Thanks for watching.